Hey everyone, Tom here. Welcome back to the shed. So it's a bit of a blustery day, a little bit cold, a little bit windy, but we've had really nice weather, and today is the day. Potato planting day. It's probably my favorite thing to plant, my favorite thing to harvest. And really to grow. I love growing potatoes. So it might still be a little bit early. I couldn't find my soil thermometer, so I had to just kind of feel in there, and things are starting to sprout, you know, different grasses and weeds, and potatoes will germinate. They'll start growing in soil as cold as 7 degrees Celsius. So from how I can feel it, it feels warmer than that. So I'm gonna go for it. It might be a little bit early, but we'll see. So I've got a whole tray of Yukon Golds. Some of these real big ones I've cut in half, you know, and just making sure a couple eyes on each half, cut side down, eyes facing up. And yeah, I have 20 in total, and I'm going to put 10 you know, chunks or 10 seed potatoes per bed. So 10 in each 4-foot by 8-foot bed. And then I'm also going to be planting Norland Early Red potatoes today as well. So let's get to it. All right. So I just pulled back the mulch, just a little bit of the leaves. I'm just digging away here. I found this pretty nice trowel I forgot I had. It's nice and pointy, and it's got a little measurement thing on there. So I'm going to go 2 rows of 5. The soil is nice and loose. That's one thing that's kind of difficult, you know, on the backs of a lot of seed packages. Bring you guys along with me here. You know, a lot of seed packs will say, you know, put in when you can cultivate the soil, or as soon as the soil can be worked. But that can be a little bit kind of, you know, I mean, if you're a big strong guy, you're going to be able to probably work the soil, even if it's still really cold and frozen. You'll be able to kind of dig it up. Or I mean, you can have soil that's got a lot of clay in there that can be really hard to work, but it might be warm enough. So I don't know, when they say things like that, it's kind of like in recipes when they tell you to cook it till it's a certain color or till it feels a certain way. It's like, I don't know. I think when you're starting off, it's definitely a good idea to invest in a thermometer. I should have one really as well. Do as I say, not as I do. Because then you know for sure, you know. You stick it in the bed and you go, oh, it's this temperature. You look up in a book or you look up online, what temperature should it be at for potatoes? It tells you. You trust that advice, and you stick them in the ground if you're in the right range. Wow, that's a really big weed down here. Wow. That's a hell of a dandelion, hey? Look at that root on that thing. Is that a dandelion? Yeah, it is. Wow. Could make some nice dandelion root coffee out of that, or tea, or whatever. Or I could just huck it over the fence. I find that funny, like, there seems to be a bit of a trend how people are like, know those stinging nettles, that other crap nobody eats? Well, you can eat that. It's like, well, you might be able to, but I don't know if I really want to. Anyway, probably offended someone whose favorite vegetable to grow is stinging nettles. Okay, so I've made 10 holes. They're about 5 inches deep. Just like that. Now the main course. That one's got to be a little deeper. Stick those in the middle. So yeah, I've grown Yukon Gold potatoes for a few years, and I think they're probably my favorite, just all-around potato. It's a funny bird. I really, really like them. Really good. Definitely would recommend Yukon Golds if you're wondering which ones to grow. Don't think you'll be disappointed. So anyway, just gonna move along here and drop these all in the holes. I'm just covering them back up, and then we'll move on to the next bed. One bed down, onto the second one. Okay, I really hope it's not too cold, but worst case, that was 2 beds with $5 expense in seed potatoes. So I did 2 4x8 beds, 20 potato plants for $5. I throw $5 away on, you know, a snack at McDonald's. So I think I can splurge on another $5 for seed potatoes if these don't make it. That's them all covered up. So yeah, there's just a little bit of leaves were left over, but that's fine. Just leave them in the corners. Alright, early red time. So about that deep. By the time that's covered up, lots of mulch and stuff, that should be good. This bed is 8x8. Which is actually, it's a little bit hard to work. It's hard to get into the middle without stepping in the bed. So I'm pushing them down a little bit, just so they have contact with the dirt underneath. But like most things that I plant, I try not to really compress the soil too much. Just kind of press it down enough so that it's already a little bit settled, so that when I water it, it doesn't do a whole bunch of funky things. Okay, so they're all in. Now it's just time to give everything a good soak. So it's really important the soil is moist whenever you're planting anything. You like my fancy hose attachment? Fancy watering wand. Actually have one of those, but it's out of commission right now. Maybe either try and fix it or buy a new one. But that's okay. As long as we're getting water on here, it doesn't really matter. Don't have to get too fancy. That's one of the great things about raised beds is, especially where I live, it's really hard to overwater, you know. They have good drainage. If anything, I wish they retained water a little bit better. That's why after it After these potatoes sprout, I'll be able to mulch around them. Lots of grass and lots of leaves around the potatoes. I don't want to do that right now because I want the soil to soak up as much sunlight as possible, to be as warm as possible. But once these sprout and the heat of the summer, once the heat of the summer comes on, I'm going to want to put thick mulch around them. That also kind of works like hilling them up. You don't have to use dirt as long as the plants get covered by something. You can use hay or straw, or, you know, dried grass or leaves or whatever. Just allows more potatoes to form up by along the plant as it grows. Because if any of those potatoes form near the surface and they get sunlight on them, that's what turns them green. If you guys didn't know that. But yeah, I'll definitely be adding mulch to these to conserve moisture and to keep the soil a little bit cooler when it gets really hot. Keep it a little cooler, a little more moist with some mulch on top. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish up giving this a real good soak. We'll go do the other bed too, and that'll be it for today.